some time that is required. So, self-discovery, I just want to cover few things before we go to the topic number 65 to 88. So 65, topic number 65 to 88, we have few objections from the non-seeker and the answer from our great master Nischal Das. So we should be understanding, because what we have been understanding until the topic number 65, so it makes almost a 360-degree understanding. So what is that 360-degree understanding? I say that what is real self and what is false self. So now what is real self and what is false self? Now you move to the another point in the circle. So how to understand the false self? So there are 7 layers of the impurities is there, and uh, those impurities makes me feel I am the body and the mind. So now we come to the impurities, we come to the ignorance, and we come to the distraction. Oh, then this is why it is happening. It is happening because of the attachment, because of the delusion, and all this is known as the ignorance. I'm completing the circle. So if I remove the ignorance, and ultimately I reach to, and real self is already there, so I know what is the real self. So topic 60 until topic 65. So if you look back into the previous sessions, we will understand. But that understanding is not clear if I am not committed. I have to set some time every day for contemplation and reflection. Every day I have to set what I have done today, and all my activities that is outside. For example, another functional and a technical aspect. The functional aspect, we say satoguna, rajoguna, tamo. We explain in question and answer, we answer what happens. Now, what is the technical aspect? Am I in peace? Yes, I'm in peace. Am I happy? Yes, I'm happy. It is satoguna. I need not to. So we move into the satoguna again and again and again during the day, but we feel as if other is responsible for this peace and happiness, and that is the ignorance. So what about my hectic activities and agitated state of the mind? That is rajoguna. Technical aspect. Now it is a technical aspect. And then what about the dullness and inertia? That is tamoguna. So if the tamoguna and the agitation or some kind of a pressure in the mind continues, then obviously my mind is objective. It is not searching who am I. And if it is not searching who am I, then I am in ignorance. Again, 360 degrees. So, this journey of the self discovery demands a commitment and a sincerity and a regular practice. Once we reach there, then there is no need. Then we are already there. But until we reach there, it demands a constant contemplation and reflection. That needs to be understood clearly. And ultimately, the whole journey is to question and inquire. We should not rely on the blind belief. Again, go back. Blind belief has an element of rajoguna or tamoguna. Satoguna means knowledge, and the knowledge plus the peace. So what happens? My mind, because of the tamo and the rajoguna, or because of the dullness and because of agitation or hyperactivity or rajoguna, so to say, I enter into a blind belief. Oh, okay, I have understood it, so I will take it later. That take it later mind keeps you in the tamo and the rajoguna. We are talking at a very little subtler level. We are not talking directly, we are not explaining philosophically satoguna and rajoguna and tamoguna. We are saying, is my mind aware and alert to grasp the knowledge here and now? It is satoguna. You need not to think too much. It's a satoguna. I have grasped completely. Yes, I have grasped it. So I did not grasp it. So I will listen to it again because I recognize that there is some element of the Rajo and the Tamoguna came to my mind. So I have to, what I have to do? I have to detach myself. Why, how I have to detach? And I'm just talking about how to move your mind in a full circle. Why to move your mind in a full circle? It is an absolute reality. For a relative reality, for a part information, you can have one part of the information from the Google and you can use it. But we are real self is the absolute reality. So I have to go a full circle. And you miss any point in the full circle, you are in ignorance. So in other words, we say it's a blind belief that paralyzes our intellect on the path of the truth. And that is why we have to do constant meditation, constant understanding. We have to analyze and scrutinize all these beliefs. And we don't swallow, we don't eat the dogmas at all. We have to think in another way. What is that thinking? I have a problem. Any problem. Physical, mental, emotional, personal, professional, social. Now I have to find a solution. So mind has found a solution, it acted on it. So what is that solution? I have to focus on that. Normally I should not sleep. I am hungry. I have to know what I am eating now, how it is going to affect me. That is a full circle. But make it better to understand. So what we are doing in Rajasic and Tamoguna state of the mind, I want to solve a problem, suffering. So in Tamo and the Rajoguna, the mind finds a solution. And what is that solution? The suffering is on the head, it brings down to the shoulder. So there is some kind of a relief. And the problems returns again. I think you got it. Problem returns again. So when the same problem repeats again, my mind, Rajo and Tamoguna, again wants to know the solution. I want peace, but a temporary solution. Let me sleep. I want peace all the time. So I have shifted the burden from my head to the shoulder by sleeping, by taking a drink, by entering into the sensual pleasure. And this is happening because of the Tamo and Rajoguna. See that? So, how many times I found a solution that pulls me, that gives me some sort of relief, and after relief, that problem is still there. Or rather, that solution creates more problem. Calm down, Kate, and the problem is still there. Why you are saying that I should calm down? You should calm down. You are to blame for all the problems. Now, you see. So that is, shifting your problem from the head to the So we have to be aware and alert. What that awareness and alertness does, I'm more logical today. So digest and assimilate the teachings completely. I have how to digest and assimilate the teachings completely. I have to contemplate and reflect on these principles again and again. So that the intellect removes the doubt. The moment the doubt gone, dullness goes away. So I move from the, telling you the practical aspect. So the moment I drop that dullness, I move into the Rajasic Guna. Now I drop even the Rajasic Guna, it means, I'm not searching a solution outside, I'm searching a solution inside. So then what I see? I see that the outer problem is an opportunity, it is not an adversity for me. That is me. That is the practical aspect. One is philosophical aspect I have understood. What I have understood? Okay, all the problems are coming from the God and will go to the God, so I have to tolerate it. No. That toleration, I have to make an effort. So it is Rajasic Guna. I want some kind of a relief. No way. That is how the journey that is how the journey of the Eastern wisdom is a holistic journey. So we have to apply these teachings and these principles skillfully. And when I apply these teachings skillfully through the contemplation and reflection, I start living in higher awareness. Without any practice, yes. But if I don't live into the higher awareness, I will continue to do the practice. Even if I live into higher awareness, I should never leave the practice even on a single day. Why? Because ultimately that is going to purify the mind. Purify the mind, and that Eastern wisdom is settling in the mind into the silence. That is the meaning of the Patanjali Yoga Sutra, what it says, Tada Drashtu Swarupe Avasthanam. The third or the fourth one? Third one, yeah. Third one. It says that now the mind is settled in the real. So it means the mind is absorbed. Now what means the mind? We have transcended the mind. Even the Satoguna is gone. We are not thinking of the Satoguna. The mind is already settled in the real self. Why I am talking about this today? Because the previous talks and previous principles are pointing towards this knowledge. Nishchal Das, when we started the Vichar Sagar, he says you need not to do any practice. You have to simply understand it. But what to understand? So it should be a total full circle understanding. It is not a partial understanding. Partial understanding, science. Water is there, it's a liquid form, physical properties, you are engineers. So let me give you that example. So physical properties is there, yes. So the chemical properties is hidden. H2O is a molecular reality. You see that? It is subtle. Now, can the H2O means two atoms of hydrogen and one atom of oxygen gives a liquidity, a liquid form? No. So there is something else there. That is the spiritual essence of the water. So we are searching that essence of the water. Science stops at the relative reality. Science says these are the physical properties. Here are the chemical properties. Two atoms of hydrogen and one atom of oxygen is there. That is why it has so there must be a colorless form where the H2 is there. Not necessary. H2SO4, sulfuric acid. You smell, you will sulfuric acid, you will smell, you will have a problem. So H2O is manifesting as a water from the ultimate cause is somewhere else. H2 in H2SO4 is manifesting as an acid the main ultimate cause is somewhere else. And that very essence we have to find out. And that very essence in me, that is what is known as the physical level, mental level, and the spiritual level. This is what this master is talking about. Only about 200 years ago he has written. So 200 years ago means today is now maybe 17 or 17 or 18th century. So 18th century, I think many scientists have started physics and chemistry and others. So he was aware of that. He knew that. So that is why I'm giving those examples, so that the very essence of anything and everything is pure consciousness. Even the mouse, yes. Even the monitor, yes. I'm just giving a understanding, and then we will go into detail that why I say so. Because if my mind is constantly focused outward, it is constantly distracted outside, Rajasic or Tamasic guna, from suffering from head to the shoulder, that is what I'm doing. In every action, that is what I'm doing. Now, how can you say, I'm hungry, so I eat food? So, okay, you have eaten food, now you're not going to eat food? Again, your stomach will be empty. It's a repetition. Rajasic activity. Rajasic activity. So, what you are looking for, that I will feel painful, hence I should eat food. So, you have to extract that very experience of the pain from the hunger and let the physical activity should go on. So, you pacify that mind which feels a sense of fear due to the hunger. That should go. So, what will happen if that should go? You are hungry, you are okay. You are eating the food, you are okay. That is the essence. That is what we are searching for. So we are not searching for any Rajasic and Tamasic activities. We are going deeper and deeper and deeper. And that is the meaning. Again, technical aspect. In the philosophical aspect, we have talked about it. I am living in the world, but I am not the world. All the time. So, what happens? That is the essence. What is that essence? Consciousness. Consciousness is not at all affected by any situation, any relationship, any relationship, or you have 5 kids or 10 kids, it doesn't make any difference to the consciousness, and that consciousness is I am. You have $1 billion or you have a penny, it doesn't make any difference. So it means what we are searching for an essence. And that essence is the spiritual consciousness. Whether we can use the word spiritual consciousness or simply say. So now the master in the Nitya Karma, now I'm bringing again full circle understanding. So but I cannot do without working. I have to continue to work. So let me work selflessly. So the motivation should not push me outside. Let me work. Let me talk for the sake of talking. Let me talk for the sake of peace and happiness. Let me learn for the sake of peace and happiness. Where peace and happiness? It is inside me. So, yes, with that understanding and recognition, that is what the Nitya Karma is. That is the basic secret of the Nitya Karma. That is how our master is going to talk from the topic number 66 to 88. So he's giving, that is what I'm summarizing. So the very essence inside, when I am aware of that, a sense all the time, the Rajasic and the Tamasic guna do not dominate and do not dictate over me. All the time. And when it doesn't dictate over me, I am in the Sattvic guna. And that Sattvic guna can help me to lead the mind further. So only in the state of the Sattvic guna I receive, I accept the teaching, I have a conviction. What conviction? That freedom and happiness are found within, not in the external circumstances, people, relationship. I have to maintain that awareness all the time. My head is heavy, should I talk? Yes, let me talk. Head, you remain heavy. So I move into that state of the Sattvic. But I need that awareness. In order to reach to that awareness, I need a detachment and dispassion. But to reach to that state of dispassion, I have to continue the practice. You see the full circle. You have to find out the full circle. If you don't see that full circle, the mind will say, okay, I will do it tomorrow. Why tomorrow? Why not now? Why not here and now? No, I am talking to my wife. I will talk to my wife later. Wife, honey, I will talk to you after an hour when I am totally relaxed and peaceful. Then I will talk more in love and peace. So please allow me. Use the trick. Why we use the trick? Because I have an intense desire to know the real self. I'm telling you, I'm talking about the full circle. All those thoughts are already working in your mind. That makes you a great seeker. That makes you a great seeker. You instantly pick up, oh, honey, yes, you're right, honey. If I talk to you after an hour when I am relaxed and in peace and joy, I'll be able to fulfill everything that you expect. I will be able to understand your demands. It has nothing to do with her demands. But you found a way. That is the meaning living in the world, and do not allow the world to live in you. All the time. 24/7. Even when you are sleeping. You don't have that intention of falling into the tamasic guna. Kabir, who used to say, many masters, many students, his students asked him, Kabir, I don't see you praying and worshipping the God and doing meditation. He said, when you think that I'm sleeping, but before I go to the sleep, while lying down the bed, I feel I am touching the feet of my Guru. Your perception is that I am sleeping, but my perception, my understanding, my realization that I am in meditation because I am touching the feet of my Guru. A recognition, I'm telling you, recognition, awareness, cognition. We need a cognitive ability. We need a cognitive ability. That is the quality of a great seeker. You think that I'm eating, but it is my God sitting inside me is eating. Why? Because I'm separate from the world. So you see all those principles, I'm not the false self. All those principles are combined together. We have to move into that state of understanding. Then only the higher principles of look at other combination, real self. And I'm just giving you. So there is a combination of the understanding. Real self is one. So I know it. No, I don't know it. So then we understand the principle of ignorance. What is ignorance? Then what we understand, then how to remove the ignorance. Can I remove the ignorance here and now? Ignorance is like a darkness. Ignorance is like a darkness. Normally people say, no, I have lot of problem. Can you give me a practice that engages me into the breathing? Yes, I said, okay. You are already living in ignorance. So what should I say? You have already made up your mind. So I said, no problem. I'll give you 10 different kinds of breathing practice. And then they get attached to the breathing. Darkness cannot be removed. Ignorance cannot be removed by breathing. It can only be removed by understanding. So you see, from where I started, real self, ignorance, removing ignorance, that results into awakening. But between the removing ignorance and awakening, there are many things that I need to understand. And one of the most important thing to understand, switching on the light is the absence of darkness. I need not to throw the darkness. I need not to do anything to throw the darkness. But to understand that, it takes long time. So we have kundalini meditation, we have mantra meditation, we have breathing practices, we have lot of stuff in between. And we forget. So we forget, then we get attached to something. Either you attach to the mantra, or you attach to some image, or you attach to some experience, or you attach to some prana, or you attach to energy. And then Master says, first you get rid of the attachment. Later on we will talk to remove the ignorance. I'm talking about the full, you have to find a full circle. Every time when you are contemplating, you have to find the full circle. That is the qualification of a great seeker. And that is why all the masters says, you get associated, you remain associated with the teacher. It means you are constantly listening and learning. So that by listening and learning, your understanding penetrates deeply and you reach to a state of detachment. You feel the sense of detachment. That is what the master Shankaracharya says, Satsangatve Nisasangatvam. You might be aware of that. What is Satsangatve? Listening and learning from the teacher. And ultimately what happens? Listening and learning from the teacher. That results automatically, naturally, your mind gets an understanding. I need not to bring that suffering from head to the shoulder. I have to remove it completely. That is what the detachment is and dispassion is. Because my mind instantly became aware of the false perception. I'm repeating all those principles which we have covered, how much I can repeat. So I'm still. My body is very still. What it means? I am aware that body is still. Think of it. Contemplate, reflect. I am aware that there is a motionless state in the body. That means Rajasic Guna is not there. So when the Rajasic Guna is not there, so what is there? Knowledge is there. So I'm into the Sattvic Guna. Now it is a functional aspect. No, not a function, technical aspect. So if the mind is not jumping into the tamasic or the rajasic guna, body will remain still. Or if the rajasic guna is dominated by the sattva guna, we have to move into the full circle. Instantly we are aware of it. So what happens in being still? I'm also purifying the mind, because I'm just dropping the rajasic and the tamasic guna. But if I fall into sleep while being still, tamasic guna. So that is why we say in meditation, we have to remain aware. We have to contemplate and reflect. Contemplate and reflect, that will help me to live in a higher self-awareness. Higher self-awareness, it is practical aspect is the sattva. Practical experience is sattva. That I don't feel any burden of talking and speaking. Oh, it's casually it's moving. Naturally it's happening. Because the moment I feel some kind of tiredness, so I have to push myself. That is Rajsiguna. Why I want to push myself? Because I should not fall into Tamsiguna. Practical, experiential journey. And that experiential journey helps us to change our lifestyle. It changes our behavior, it changes our attitude also. And ultimately, which helps us to live into not only the higher awareness, it makes me a great seeker. That is the story I told you many a times. That is the story of a lion cub who was raised by the buffaloes. And the lion approached him. So, how the lion cub has to behave? He has to behave ignorant of his true nature. Because he was raised by the buffaloes, so he started eating the grass. That is our state of the mind. So tamasic and the rajasic guna are so much dominating in our life that we are as if they're raised by the buffaloes. Again, we have to just instantly you become aware, you understand it, and it goes deep inside. Now think of it. What all the discussions I just have it, can we explain in a single phrase? Yes. Where is that phrase? Self-knowledge is different from the worldly knowledge. That is what I discussed until now. But do I have that intense awareness? Anything the worldly comes and I drop and dissolve it. Then only I can see that here is a self-knowledge, here is the worldly knowledge. You separate in your head. Arvindo talks in a different way, and our Shankaracharya talks in a different way, Buddha talks in. But just come back. When I say the self-knowledge is different from the worldly knowledge. The body is also the world. Mind is also the world. The thoughts are also the world. I even separate. I see that, experience that separation. So there is a natural stillness. Even the body is moved. Body is the word. I am still. I am still now. No, you are speaking. No, I'm not speaking. It is the word. So now you see the transition. First, you as a lower seeker, you have to keep your body still, and that understanding gives you that this body is also the world. So if it moves or not, it doesn't make any difference. Something deep inside me is always still, and that is the real self, and that is what the self-knowledge is. So now you are moving your body, and still you are still. You are still. Mind has a motivation. I am hungry, I am eating the food. But where the food is being eaten, it is by the body. Body, eating, done, everything is a part of the world. I'm not eating anything. Krishna says one to his one group of the students, I have not eaten anything until today. Well, it is the body and the mind has a motivation for physical survival. I am not the body, so who eats? No one. I did not eat anything until today. So when we are a higher level of a seeker, we reflect on that, yes, and you actually experience that you are not eating because you are not the body and mind, and still you are eating. Full circle. We are just going a full circle all the time. So what happens in that? The mind gains a status of equanimity. It gains a status of almost a peace. It is not in a hurry. It is not in a worry. It is not in a hurry to sleep, or it is not in a hurry to act. What is the result? Think of it. Freedom from reaction. Freedom from the suffering. There is the freedom from the suffering. And because mind is already dominated by the satoguna, the peace and the happiness continues to live there, and it perceives, okay, it's okay. Ah, I'm feeling hungry, yes. So instantly body is identified. Now you drop the identification. So the hunger, physical hunger is still there, but the suffering will not be there. Suffering will not be there. This is what happens when the higher level of a seeker. I'm trying to understand, make you understand the way I have understood. You're digesting these principles, assimilating, contemplating, actualizing these principles. See, in other way, the full circle. That is why we normally quote these great masters. Jesus says, love thy neighbor as thyself. When I am love, there is no neighbor. Finished. One approach, full circle. Another approach of the Buddha, Buddha says, hatred cannot stop by hatred. Same thing. In Dhammapad, it begins with those first two verses. You cannot stop hatred by hating someone. So I have to drop hatred, yes. So who has to drop hate? Yeah, I have to drop my hatred. So I already move into the Satoguna. It is the same love, same compassion. So that is why the Buddha talks in terms of compassion and Jesus talks in terms of love. It's the same thing. You have to go to the full circle. You have to go to the full circle of understanding. So there comes some kind of an attachment, some expectations, the impurity of the mind, delusion is there. That is why I'm hating someone. And when I love my neighbor as myself, or where I reach, there is no neighbor, only love. Approach. Every master wants us to move into the full circle. We cannot simply pick up one phrase and we say, yes, this master is good and bad. No master is good and bad. No master is good and bad. So we have to study, contemplate, and reflect again and again through different ways. Why different ways of awakening? Why different ways of contemplation? Because it gives a different perspective for the mind to remove all the doubt. Problem is the doubt. Problem is that no conviction is there in the intellect. You already know there is satoguna, rajoguna, tamoguna. You already know the peace and happiness are within me. So the mind creeps with the doubt. It forces you. No, after all, I have to do. Couple of years ago back, you said that how to bring these principles into professional life. You are one. One part is the professional life, one part is the personal life, one part is. That is not even the part. We have to live into that. So, what happens after all by doing all these exercises in my mind through contemplation, reflection, and practices of meditation? I raise my level of awareness. There is an emotional poise, there is a mental or intellectual maturity. Intellectual paralysis does not take place. I live into that extraordinary awareness inside all the time. There is a mental clarity. What is this? This is known as viveka and vairagya. So that power of viveka and vairagya diffuses the destructive impulses. It doesn't allow it to come. You are aware of it. You remain in that state of calmness and peace. Full circle understanding all the time. So that is why we are studying and learning all these principles, topic by topic by topic. And then all those topics merge into one thing, that is knowledge. Our main goal is to find the real self. I am hungry, I am finding the food. Outwardly, I should find the food physically. No issue, no problem. But internally, I should be aware of the real self. Real self does not need any food. Why? So that I should be able to maintain a separation from that I am not the body, even while eating. It's very easy to do when the stomach is full. It's very easy. But it's a damn difficult when I'm feeling hungry. You can see that your hands are pushing, your hands have a tremendous energy. It wants to grab the bite and wants to put it when we are hungry. You can feel a lot of energy in the fingers. Head may feel heaviness because you are hungry, but they are full of energy. Eyes are constantly looking. Can I get the food of my choice? Tongue is all ready to taste it. But neither the tongue nor the eyes nor the fingers have is my real self. That is why we say all our great masters have um, reached to that state. It's not a big, so intense awareness is there that as a seeker, that my desire is to know the real self, whether my stomach is full or empty, whether I'm driving or not, whether I'm sitting in restroom or anywhere. That sense of Awareness is always there. And when we live into that awareness, the intense awareness to know the real self, I start perceiving the world, the entire world is constantly changing. The way you see the car is moving at a very high speed, that way you also see every cell of the body is also moving at a very high speed. 60, 70, 80, 90 years of this body is running at a very high speed. I I do not sit in a tamasic relaxation. No, I have that intensity because I see every cell is running at such a high speed. It is going, it is going now, it is going now. So what happens? You enter into a high level. You see that by constant listening and learning, reflecting, you reach to that point. Oh, I see the car is moving at a high speed. The same way, my every cell is moving at a high speed. 80, 90 years as compared to millions of years. The existence of the earth doesn't make any sense. 80, 90 years is nothing. Nothing. Even not a single minute. The higher seeker lives into that awareness. What happens? That purifies the mind. Your mind is not going anywhere. Think, think, think. So, so when we say the absolute reality, we say it is symbolically Om. The same Om is Sat Chit Anand. We say it is the absolute existence, consciousness, bliss. So it is not the physical or chemical properties of the real self. It is the nature. Nature is different than the properties. So in the beginning, when we are becoming a seeker, we feel, oh, these are the property, these are the properties. When we use the word property, so it means the physical or chemical properties of the real self. No, it is the nature. Nature means it cannot be undone. Nature of the sugar is sweetness. Can you see the sweetness? No. But it is still there, yes. Sweetness is there, yes. So nature plus the properties, they are two are different things. So by constant listening and learning, reflecting, when your doubts removes, you see, oh, this is what I am. This is what our master is going to talk about it, but he has to remove all the objections first from a non-seeker. So again, Eastern wisdom, basically it is removing the ignorance like the darkness from the room by switching on the light. When we are a higher level of a seeker, we need not to make any effort. We need to be simply understand. We move into that awareness. That awareness recognizes here is a false and here is a real. It is done. I have reached to that state. That is why we have been doing that practice of meditation to help us to reach to that state. Take another question. When the master says the real self is always with us, within us, that why we are unable to perceive it? So you may have many answers. So explore each and our senses and the mind. They are always looking at the external world. And I see that same senses and the mind should find the real self, but they are not capable. Why they are not capable? They can only know the objective world, they cannot know the subjective. It is something like that you want to know uh, the structure of the cell by telescope, not by electron microscope. It will not work. So I have to see whether the senses and the mind are fit instrument. And the mind, because of the ego identification, says it is the fit instrument. If you cannot prove that real self, if you cannot show me the real self in front of me, I will not believe. So Master says, first remove your ignorance. Understand the impurity of the mind. It is not possible. Telescope cannot see the mitochondria in a cell. Only the electron microscope can see. Telescope has to see the stars. Instruments have different utilities. Senses are instruments. Senses, even though it may see the stars, but it cannot see the real self. So, why we need that clarity? Because it helps you to live into the higher awareness. Instantly you are aware. The next moment you are aware. That is why we say the ignorance is the incomplete knowledge. It is a knowledge. What is the knowledge? That I know that I don't know the real self. So still I know something. So it is an incomplete knowledge. At least I know something. What I know, that I don't know my real self. So it is an incomplete knowledge means what? It is a misunderstanding. It is a false assumption. It's a wrong notion. So when I understand this, when the teacher teaches, oh, it's a false notion, and then my mind goes that, oh yes, telescope can't see the mitochondria in a cell, only the electron. Oh, it means my sense organs are not a fit instrument to see the real self. So your mind withdraws itself. You lift your awareness. This is what happens. Every practice, in one or the other way, helps us to purify the mind. Purification of the mind helps you to raise in awareness. But to recognize the real self, I have not to do any practice. Ignorance. Recognize that there is a light here. What practice I need to do? Just an awareness. Yes, there is a light. So that is why our master teaches again and again, look, this is real self, this is real self, this is real self, this is the real self. So what happens when we start rise in awareness, and one day we have lifted our awareness to the highest level, we already see it is the real self. No hallucination, no imagination. Because previously, before knowing, before no declaring that this is the light, I had the past knowledge that this is the light. And now I say, yes, there is a light, so there is no darkness. We have not been educated what is the real self since our childhood. That is the way, that is the process of the mind. Mind should know first. It should get the information, then it should reach to that state. This is another way. I'm explaining in a different way. Uh, in a different way. Yes, there is another one part is also very important. It came to my mind also and popped up. Samadhi. Huh? Samadhi. The last syllable is dhi. Dhi means the intellect. Sam means equanimity. Samadhi. That is the real samadhi. Now you see the equanimity. When the intellect it lives into the state of the equanimity, it has no rajasic in the tamoguna. What is left, it is satoguna. And you can easily transcend the satoguna. You live into that state of equanimity is samadhi. Oh, samadhi with eyes open, yes. There is also another meaning of the samadhi. Do you know? There's another meaning of the samadhi. You have we have in Christianity symmetry. In a cremation ground, so we build some structure. So that is also the meaning of samadhi. There are two meanings of the samadhi. So when the great people dies, and then we build some structure, and we put their body buried deep inside. That is also known as samadhi. Why it is known as samadhi? Because now the body is not there, mind is not there, intellect is not there, ego is not there. All are merged into the five elements. What is left is the samadhi. So it means I drop all my suffering and ego and all dualities and the conflicts. What is left is the equanimity of the state. That is the equanimity of the state. So now bring it at the physical level. Oh, samadhi. So in samadhi, when one goes to the cremation ground, samadhi is built so he doesn't move. So now see the teaching, how beautiful the teaching is. So I should not move my body, yes. So when I don't move my body, I recognize how my mind moves the body. I lift my awareness. Look at, see that. So the higher seeker understands totally in a different way as compared to the beginners of this journey. And that is what our Nishchal Das is teaching us. What a beauty of teaching of this Nishchal Das.